Welcome to the HEARTS Entwined podcast. In this podcast, we'll be having discussions around the secrets which attract lasting, healthy, fulfilling relationships, creating a healthy mindset, and what women should know and understand about men. Introducing your host, Lyn Smith, the Queen of Hearts, relationship expert, trainer, speaker, and best-selling author of the Cupid's Bow technique. Lyn's mission is to have a positive impact in reducing divorce, domestic violence, and suicide.
Welcome to the HEARTS Entwined podcast. This is your host, Lyn Smith, the Queen of Hearts. And today I've got a great, different style male guest on. His name is Troy Rawlings. And he's not only a love, dating and relationship expert and coach, he's also a comedian and delivers his brand of coaching in a very fun comedy style. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about taboo talks with Troy. So, hello, Troy.
How are you, Lyn? How's everything?
Everything is great here. Where are you in the world?
I am in Los Angeles, California. It's in the AM here. It's about, I know you guys are like 9 hours ahead of me. So it's Friday in Los Angeles, California. I don't know when this is going to air. But it's a Friday morning around 11:26 a.m. So I guess it's 8:26 p.m. your time?
Yeah, it is 8:26 p.m. my time. So yeah, it's quite a big time difference. So it's lovely to have somebody on, from another part of the world and to share your experiences. And I love the title actually of this particular episode, Taboo Talks. Tell me how that came about, Troy.
Well, actually it was about... Well, wow, now 15 years ago now, I started doing some publicist work. I've been doing, professional comedy. I say professional because I started getting paid for it. I was a entertainment brat since I was a kid, not getting paid for it and getting in trouble with school and all that stuff. But when I started actually getting paid for it, it was like 2001. And about 2004, I was doing some publicist work for different authors, and an author by the name of Yonder had a book called What I Do Is Taboo. And erotic fiction, sex, love, relationship, erotic fiction books, Zane or Danielle Steele or Harlequin. And some of them are very, I say urban erotic fiction, because regular erotic fiction is like he took out his long sword and thrust it into the essence of her being. And, urban, it's like they on the floor and they fucking. So it was one of those type of books where it was like, okay. And what I noticed is women would come up, and we were doing book signing in the middle of a mall, and we're standing and we're interacting. And I'm a comedian, so I'm always going to entertain people. When women come up and say, well, I got a question. My man comes home from work, and I get ready to go down on him, and he stops me. Is he cheating on me? And I was like, okay, first off, I've never heard of a guy stopping a woman from going down on him. That's one. I said, two. I said, but was this something you always did? Did you always jump on him at the door? And, we kind of laugh about it and stuff. And then I was like, but you also know a man is still at work when he gets home. She looked at me like, huh? And I was like, it takes us longer to deprogram. And the look on her face was like, what do you mean? My man has a brain? It was like, she was like, what do you mean? He thinks and has emotions? It was like, but what I realized is, that woman wasn't going to ask her girlfriend about why her man stopped her from giving him a blowjob. She was going to find out from men, look, give me the real. Since she felt comfortable, and I specialize in setting a comfortable atmosphere so people can just be themselves, I realized that the only thing that's really taboo is telling the truth. A question about sex, and we're comedians, so we take everything. Nothing is taboo to a comedian.
No.
So it's like words, really. So taboo talk means whatever you think is off the chain that you're scared to ask. Yeah. And what I found out is no matter how crazy it gets, you get to the deeper stuff later. Talking about sex is easy. Talking about how this person might have been abused or how she's not really in love with her husband or something like that. That's the hardest stuff.
Yeah. That's something I can definitely relate to. So off air a couple of minutes ago, I had the benefit of listening to you saying, that you know, it's things really escalated when during your live performances, was it that you invited people to put the questions they then ask into a bucket, you know?
Anonymous, yeah.
Anonymously, yeah.
Yeah, it's something that it gets rid of the pretentiousness of someone, you know, that's what I pitch. If 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 a woman is on a talk show or she's talking to a therapist or someone and she's trying to be polite, she's like, well, he's just not really romantic with me the way I want him to be. I want him to be more romantic in it. And she comes to my session, she can put in that bucket. How do I get him to go down on me and eat me out? How do I get him to, I really want him to do something he's never done before. You know, they can put that in a bucket, but when you're talking to somebody, they'll dance around it.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? They'll dance around what it is. You know, my woman doesn't pay enough attention to me. Or, a lot of times with guys, it may be a respect thing or wanting to try something new. With women, it's always, I mean, and I'm being general, but with women, it's always the entirety of the experience, from how you treat her mind that morning to how much she wanted to be ravished. But, and also women having a hard time telling when they want to go further, because a man, you know, I for years I thought, before I did this session, I thought men always like sex a lot more than women. Wrong. I always do it at the beginning of my session. If it's a mixed crowd, I always do it so men will see and men will also shut up after this. Because when you go into a session, you have men and women, the first thing they think about doing is bad or the sexist type stuff. I'm going to give her a piece of my mind. I'm going to tell them how I feel. No one's listening. So at the beginning of my show, I say, look, we're all in the same playing field. There's no judgment in here. I don't care if you're a virgin or if you were sucking dick in the hallway. We're all on the same playing field. Don't, of course, the person sucking dick in the hallway is a little further ahead than most people, but I don't want anybody judging anybody. We're all on the same playing field. So leave all that stuff outside. And how many women here think they like sex as much as or more than men? Raise your hand. And 9 times out of 10, women will start raising their hands, and you'll see men look around the room like, oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, okay. And then mind you, it's not just about sex questions, it's relationship questions in. And I tell people, okay, if you're talking about men, don't say why do men lie, say why do some or most. You have men with all men. So don't generalize like that. And what I'm doing in the midst of this is showing people, we are alike in a lot of ways, but also don't judge everybody the same way. Every individual is different. So it's those type of things that set an atmosphere where it's been pretty amazing. I'm from Baltimore, I'm a Black guy from Baltimore. So it's from an urban African-American crowd to a preppy Burbank mixed or Caucasian or Latino or Armenian or European crowd. It doesn't matter. When you talk about sex, all of the questions line up pretty much the same. Some audiences deal with 1 or 2 things that may be a little bit more taboo to them. But yeah, I've been to hedonism in Jamaica doing my show, and it's no difference from doing the show for the Christian women in San Diego.
Yeah, no, I get that. And, the thing is that I think with both sexes, women tend to misunderstand men because they think men think, feel and behave like women, and vice versa, and obviously that's not the case. So it's understanding the differences, as much as anything. Right.
I saw a video, a TED Talk that Dr. John Gray, who wrote Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Yeah.
From like 2014.
Yeah.
He's just hilarious. He's funny, but it's funny because, you can Google this stuff, and a lot of times that's what men think and women think. A woman is like, well, he doesn't understand. He's not. One of the biggest things you hear a woman say, and this is, like I said, it's general, not all women, but is that he's just not communicating to me. And if you look up the word communicate, it does not say talk.
No.
It's how you transfer information about a feeling or expression or whatever things, but it doesn't say talk, because talking is a form of communication.
Yes.
So women, talking is everything. My daughter is 7 years old. I remember when she was almost 2, and one day she was like, she was not saying words, but she was flowing. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is arts.
Well, apparently women speak 3 times at least more words a day than men.
Right. So what I try to say is, and I have it on my Relationship Comedy YouTube channel. If a man gets home from work and he sits in the chair and he's like, like, baby, what's wrong? There's nothing wrong. You sure there's nothing wrong? Yeah. By the third time, you're actually interrogating him. Yes, of course there's something wrong. You just have to learn how to speak his language. Like, if you hungry? Yeah, I know that. You want a beer? You want some coffee? You want to rub his feet? If you know some intimate thing you do turns him on or releases, that's why in the middle of the night back in the day you would hear, if you go to the bathroom as a child and you hear your parents in the middle of the night they talking, they're probably talking because they just had sex. And he is now totally open to whatever. He's open, he's honest, he's bleeding his heart out to this woman. That's what pillow talk originally was.
Yes.
Because that was the intimacy piece. And a woman who really knew, there were women that taught other women how to deal with a man in certain ways. You know what? He's probably got a lot on his head. You're not going to hear it, but make sure when your bedroom is your bedroom. So after y'all have sex, he's going to talk like a teenage boy.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? There's so much wisdom, that's been passed on down the generations that, because nothing's changed as regards what creates really healthy, passionate, fulfilling, mind-blowing relationships. Nothing's changed over, it's just society that's changed. So what's worked to create really great relationships right since man walked the earth is what still stands today.
Right. Exactly. It would the only thing that has changed is the level at which information is going to our young people.
Yes.
And they may think that they can look at, I say us now, I'm 44, us now or older, and think, okay, I know everything I need to know about sex. What do you mean you know everything you need to know about sex? What are you talking about in relationships? Well, I watched everything from porn to Oprah to a bunch of people online in the past 2 hours, and I got it all. Like, what? That's the dispensation of time we're in. So it's knowledge is being transferred at information is being transferred at a higher level, but knowledge is not being transferred at a higher level.
I agree.
Not.
Yeah, I agree, because, let's face it, a lot of things that are key life skills, and I'm not just talking about love, dating and relationships, are not taught in schools, and we're not parented about this stuff, are we?
No. And if it's, I come from even though my parents were together 21 years, I was 14 when they just kind of went their separate ways. And then it was like, all right, see you, kid.
Yeah.
So there's, as much as people, you heard people talk about growing up fast, and they grew up fast, they had to grow up fast. What they don't say is anytime you have to quote unquote grow up fast, at that point that you start that transition, whatever you didn't learn between the proper growth at that point, at 14, my parents leave and I'm kind of living on my own. So I'm a 14-year-old in a lot of places in my life. I still have to get the therapy, the help, the knowledge, and grow fully into manhood, because there was a traumatic experience at 14 that stunted some growth. And we don't look at it like that. We thought, I had to grow up quick, so I took care of my brothers and sisters. But you lost some of your childhood, and that part of your childhood is needed too. So what are you doing now to, these are, I have saying therapy is for us, all of us. We all need a sense of therapy and something therapeutic, and know that we can talk and get open. And the more we talk and get open, and like you said before, talking about men and women, men are not a woman with a penis. That's not what a man is. We don't even think alike. Scientifically, we can't even, women comprehend a lot more and can take in a lot more at one time, and men are compartmentalizing their thinking. That's why we do great at honeydew lists.
Yeah.
It's a list, 1 through 5. If you call that man and say, hey, can you add something to that list? Oh my goodness. I was on number 4. What do you want to add?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a funny game, really. Educating people around, the differences, because, like you say, men aren't hairy versions of women. They're just not.
No, they're not. They're not. And it's a whole. So when a woman says a man's not communicating, she's talking about, he's not talking to me. It's like, but he sat down in that chair, slouched, started sighing, rubbing his head. Think he had a hard day? Or think he might be a little depressed about something? He is communicating. look at all that nonverbal communication he's doing.
Yes, just those little subtle signals, isn't it, to take on board?
Right. That's communicating. 60% of our communication is nonverbal.
Yes.
So that's the essence of it. And the biggest thing, like I said, my mission is to help men and women communicate better in love. It's the lovingness. If you have a child or someone you really love, or parents you're taking care of, anybody you're taking care of love, even if it's a dog or cat,
yes,
you are tending to them. You tend to those things and people you love. It's the love part that we're missing in our communication. Because if he gets home, and see, the problem is now the man and woman coming home at the same time. Sometimes she's getting home later because everybody's working. In America, at least, everybody's
yes,
working. Everybody the dog has got a job. The dog is on commercials. He's like, "Where's the dog? He's going to interview. Leave him alone." Right? He's at an audition. He's like, what?
He's rounding up sheep.
Right. He's doing something. He's working. At least back in the day when everybody worked, it was a farm setting, agricultural. Everybody worked and everybody eat at the same table. So, everybody did their work and everybody eat. Nowadays, dinner is whatever you bring home for yourself. Everybody's going for themselves nowadays. Mm-hmm. So there's how much are we tending to in a loving manner to people? And that's where the biggest part of miscommunication comes in. Because in the beginning of my next book that I'm working on is Butt Naked Honest 2, Her Butler, His Maid. Finding gratitude and servitude towards your mate. Because when you first get with somebody, you're like, oh, what's mine is yours, and what's yours is, if you want it to be mine, it'll be mine too. But it's as soon as you have a problem, the problem is your shit and my shit. Leave my car alone. Where's my, so what happened?
Yeah.
In the midst of it, us having problems, we start pulling away. And I think, if you find a sense of what at the beginning everything was affectionate and loving, and you just want to share everything with this person. And we've seen some great relationships where people can keep that going. You see older couples and they can't stop holding each other's hand like they're young again, because they've gone through enough to realize that everything else ain't that deep. I love this person.
Yeah. It's a definite art form that I think has been lost over the years, especially I think, because society's changed so much and women have obviously become more independent, and now, right. Sometimes even the main breadwinner or as equal breadwinner, as well as maybe even, sharing childcare duties. So roles and relationships have changed in that sense. But I think because I speak to women, who probably are in the corporate world now and are very high powered, they tend to think if they're single, it's because men feel threatened by their status, or, because they're more successful probably than some of the men they meet. And that's not the case. They don't realize that has really got very little to do with it.
Well, And in some cases, because I get that question a lot too. I get the question of, well, what can you tell, how, as a strong woman, or is that a independent woman, or is it this and that? And there's nothing wrong with being independent, but no. I think what we don't stress enough is a healthy interdependence.
Yes.
Being who you are, but knowing that your life evolves around other people and involves other people if you want to grow. You can't grow by yourself. So the thing that's so amazing about the scenarios with business women and women in general, and here in the United States, you're right. The biggest entrepreneurial push right now, and this is why you see, and of course with the Me Too movement and everything else, is why you see so many women CEOs right now, because the biggest entrepreneurial market or community are women, and even larger African American women. So it's huge across the board. Women are running things and going, but they've kind of been doing it for years. Because if you run a household, you can run anything. So. The thing that's so crazy, though, is that, and here's the part that you got to realize, when women go into corporate and they start competing with men, competition is what men do.
Yes.
So if you feel like you're in it, you go in there and you shake a man's hand and you shake it hard and you look him in his eyes. In a lot of ways, you have said game on. And remember, before we had a woman, we had games. We had balls and trucks and competition, and That's why guys are considered players, because everything is a competition. So it becomes that thing. But the one thing that always melts masculinity is femininity.
Absolutely.
To this day, it's the thing that melts masculinity.
Yeah.
But the more, and that's just my opinion, but it's, I tell women like, well, how can a man do this? How can a man do that? And 95% of my audience is women. And I'll always say something, I'm a comedian too. So I always say, well, wear a dress. And they'll start laughing like, what? I was like, do you realize that most of the chivalry you're talking about that you think is gone came from women wearing dresses?
Absolutely. Yeah, I understand. And this is exactly what I educate about myself.
Yeah. It's really, even though we try to, a lot of times men are wearing dresses now and they trying to do it on the runways and this, that, and other. Guys, got some guy at the Emmys or whatever it was that had the dress on him. Oh, he looks amazing. No, he looks crazy. I understand he may, even if he's gay, that's something that's, now if you're transgender and you have a sex change and you want to wear a dress, so be it. But if you're a man wearing a dress, you're taking something that only a woman can rock and wear a dress properly. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are.
I agree.
It's one that's amazing. Femininity, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And what happens is when you go into a corporate setting, because there's a challenge there, and some women have been like, okay, I got to go in here and I got to show them that I'm about my business. Because when you're a woman, sometimes you got to deal with the 3 Fs. Are they trying to fuck you, finance you, or fuck you over? And sadly, some women in business deal with that kind of stuff on a regular basis. I've had friends that are beautiful women, intelligent, and they go into a meeting, they all excited, and they come back and talk to me like, it's the same old. I was like, what happened? And when they started breaking it down to me, I was like, yo, that's horrible that you have to think about that. That is this guy just trying to get up my dress? Is this a real, does he take me seriously? Is he trying to get me in position so he can use me? Or is he serious about wanting to finance me? And there's different techniques and things you can do to learn that, because any guy that, women are the most beautiful thing on the planet. Women and men want to be with a woman. So having one to have sex with somebody, that's just a natural feeling. But if you talk about business to a man, you'll see his eyes shift if he's serious. He'll shift and start talking and look a certain way, and he'll focus on business. So you can get that guy who thinks he's flirting with you focused on business. It's techniques and stuff. But the fact that a woman has to deal with that kind of psyche is a big deal.
Yeah.
So by the time she gets home, she, unless she has a high sex drive, she's like, oh, I had a hard day too.
Yeah.
What did you fix today? Like, let's just order in.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying, because my main program is literally educating women around how to use your feminine power. Is literally that, because we've all got that. If you're in a heterosexual relationship where you're attracted to the opposite sex, normally, what that usually means is that although we both have masculine and feminine energy, regardless of what sex you are, normally what it means if you're in a relationship which is an opposite sex relationship is that your more dominant natural energy is the same as your gender. It's not always the case, but the majority of the time it is. So, that use that feminine energy, and it's educating women in how to use it to get what they want, because they want a strong man. They want him to, be the one that wears the trousers in a relationship, and they don't even realize that they're the ones that are in their masculine energy often when they come back from home and are coming across as being quite competitive, which then, like you said, he's feeling that energy as being another man challenging him rather than the feminine, beautiful woman that she is.
Right. So either he's going to combat it or he's going to back down from it.
Definitely.
And either way, it's not a flow. It's not a together. You're absolutely right. It's like what you said earlier. We used to have older women, be it mom or grandmom, who would pull women up and say, come here, baby, let me talk to you. And they'd be in the soft. These are certain things you should do. And teaching a woman just how to be a woman and wear a dress. And some of the things that it was like, but I'm kind of tomboyish because my father, I'm raising my daughter, but I realized that I have to, she loves wearing dresses. And of course, I'm always thinking, well, wear something because you're going to be playing in school and this, that, and another. And those are little intricate things. And I want her to be totally feminine. But those are things that we don't realize. Women back in the day grandmothers and mothers realized how important it was to teach this lady to be a young lady. I remember my mother, one of the most serious yelling and scolding and beatings I got was because my mother looked outside and saw me wrestling a little girl. And we were in like elementary school. She was like, get over here. I was like, what? She got a dress on. Oh, she jumped on my back. I know, you don't do that. She got a dress on, a dress flying in the air. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess so. It was the dress.
Yes.
It was, it was certain things that, but we've kind of lost sight of some of that.
We have. And it's different things that make us feminine, because for me, it isn't around wearing lots of heavy makeup, for example, that makes me feel feminine. For other women, it is. They like to get dolled up to the nines. For me, I just like to have a flower in my hair and or on my clothes or both, and wear sort of floaty skirts and dresses and be a bit gypsy-ish, I suppose, or a bit Spanish in the way I sort of present myself.
You're in Spain. I mean, that's woo.
So that's
you can walk outside and be like, yes, I'm going to do that tomorrow.
So that's what makes me feel feminine. So it's more about, what makes you feel feminine, not necessarily that you need to actually, always be painting your nails or always be fully made up or always wearing stiletto shoes. It's whatever makes you feel feminine.
Right. Exactly. And I think it does so much. I have a wonderful friend. We've been friends for 25 years. I'd be blessed to marry this woman. She showed me time and time again that she's got my back and she's there for me and this, that, and other. But she's a businesswoman to be reckoned with. And she has a lot of traits from her father. But when she's around me, she melts. There's nothing more attractive to a man than a woman that allows him to be a man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a woman that can allow that to come out of you. Because sometimes you'll meet somebody who's like, oh, this guy's just, he's not doing this, he's not doing that, he's not doing this. But like you said, a woman can talk to a man. A woman is so powerful. She can talk to a man, and with her tongue is more powerful, and not just for sex. Her tongue is powerful because she can talk to him and make him feel like the dirt of the earth, where she comes from, or make him the king that he's meant to be just by the words and the way she talks to him. Now, if he doesn't have a vision and you can't bring it out of him, then you may have to really consider this man you're with. Because some men, and women, they're lost cause. They can't, nothing you say will help them go to the next level. But you should be able to pour into your mate or your friend and see your words translate into an actual tangible thing. And that's how powerful women have. I love the fact that you're teaching on feminine energy.
And I think, it's also teaching women that, the vulnerability is their greatest strength. It's not their weakness. That is their superpower, their vulnerability, in being able to, from a position of, from strength, I don't mean, you're desperate and needy, because that isn't attractive either. But, from a position of being in your healthy, best state where you've been doing your self-care, you're feeling confident, you've done the inner work around, self-love and, from that place of vulnerability, that's very attractive to a guy.
Yes, by all means. I love, over the years I've seen the questions from women and still coming in and still, one of the questions I just put a YouTube up about a woman talking about, I'm with this guy and I know this woman. So I know that outside of just her post, some people post crazy stuff and there'll be a school teacher or a female pastor somewhere and they have another scenario online that they do. And it's like some fetish or crazy thing. And you're like, who is it? Like, oh, that's just me having fun. It's like, yeah, that's the other side of you, Dr. So-and-so. But this woman always, who she is. So if you know about her, she's very much, her sexuality is up front. So, but the question she asked, since it was anonymous, sounds like the average question a woman would ask. I'm with this guy. I find myself faking it because the sex is not that good, but he's so good to me and he's such a gentleman. And that's all she said. And this guy doesn't know that. He just thinks it's the greatest thing ever But what I had to flip the script on her with, because I've heard that hundreds of times from women.
Yes.
They're with somebody, and women do it all the time. Because and let's do the scientific numbers of it all. If 60 to 70% of women have never had a vaginal orgasm, meaning an orgasm during actual sexual penetration and sex, but the average woman has had a control orgasm with herself or her toy within 2 minutes.
Yes.
There's a disconnect on communication about what this woman likes versus what this guy thinks he's doing.
Yes.
So I just went back to in a video and I said, look, so let's talk about reciprocity. Do you enjoy pleasing him? Because that's even another thing. Okay, if you're going into sex with this anticipation, oh, here we go, this dude. And if he's small, I mean, if he's a small dude and can't, there's literally somebody gave me a book, and I don't know why they gave me this book. I'm not saying that it's towards me, but the book is called Penis Envy: 101 Things to Do If You Think Your Penis Is Too Small. Actually, the guy who wrote the book was at an event. I'm trying to make it sound like I don't have a small penis, but it's called Penis Envy: 101 Things to Do If You Think Your Penis Is Too Small by Ricky Bledsoe. It is a thick little book. It's a funny book, but it's real. So there are a bunch of things you can do to please your mate if that's what's up. But this man, if you're faking it, it's ladies, to all your women listeners, stop faking it. But don't have the conversation in the bedroom. That's the biggest thing I tell people. Go get some coffee, walk in the park, have those sexy conversations. I want you to do this to me, but away from the bedroom. So but at the time you get to the place where it's supposed to be most intimate, especially because a man's ego is like your emotions. So just like you get your emotions hurt, you can hurt his ego.
Yes.
And it does the same thing. And when the man shuts down, he gets quiet. And of course, you want to talk. He doesn't want to talk to you anymore. And each time he shuts down, he closes the door.
Yeah.
So he gets a little more private, a little bit more secretive, and lies start beginning a little bit more. Because he doesn't trust you. He opens up his part and, but the more loving you are, like I said, that femininity lets him know that he's your man, he's your king. But talk about the stuff that you like away from the bedroom. Go out to coffee and say, oh, look at that. Let's make up some stories about this couple over here. What do you think he's going to do to her later on? And you have fun, whatever it is. Y'all having fun. And he's like, you know what I'd really like you to do? He's like, what's that, baby? He's cutting his eggs and his bacon. I want you to tie me up and pull my hair and call me the dirtiest name you can when we're having sex. He will drop his coffee on his bacon, say, check.
Let's make it happen.
Call him while he's at work. I know you. Are you busy, baby? Yeah, I'm busy. Well, I just want to suck your dick when you get home. Just wanted to let you know that. Oh, my son fell off a cliff. Did you say my son fell? Hold up, Bob. My son fell off a cliff. I gotta go. Cliff. You live in the valley. It's a cliff. What I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of little, sexy tricks you can do as well. Like if your partner's going away for the weekend, or has to go, like for example, in lots of relationships, especially if you're an expat like myself living in Spain, your partner might have to go back to the UK now and again. So it's nice just to put something in his suitcase to remind him of you.
As long as he's not going home to somebody. But that's a good way to find out what his real status is too. It's like, I can't believe you did that. Did you like it? My wife found it. Your wife?
Well,
tell I said hi.
Yeah.
No, this is for you, baby. I don't wear this size. And it smells like perfume already. That is sexy though. That is more than sexy. That's a good one. But nowadays you just gotta make sure. It's like, you haven't called me back. Did you find it? You left that in there? Yeah, what's wrong? I'll call you back.
That's funny. Man. Yeah.
But yes, that is, I like that. That is very, women, yes. If you know his status, if you know you're not doing anything, because you just set a lot of guys up, that's what I'll do. She's going to know today, But I like that. That's really cool.
Yeah,
something to
and it might, be just something like a little note, with something erotic written on it.
Even. Yeah, then something, I love that, names and stuff that only you two will know. And especially for married. See, this stuff we're not talking about. Some people are like, oh yeah, that'd be romantic if I wasn't married. Stop that. You're married. You're supposed to be doing all the romantic shit that you could ever think about. You should be doing with your wife or your husband. Everything. This is the person you're really going to be with for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Leave it all on the table. There's a scripture in biblically that says the marriage bed is undefiled. So that means leave it all on the table. Do it all.
Yeah.
So it's like, if this is the point, now it's legal. All that hoism you used to do before you were married, now you got legal rights, supposedly. So do whatever you want. Do it all. Why don't play with it? Do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100% agree. The thing is that, with your mate, partner, in a romantic sense, nothing, like you say, is off limits within the boundaries of the two of you, because it really shows the more you share, the more you allow the other to share. And it really shows really high level, deep trust. And that trust creates lots of intimacy.
Yes. There's nothing greater than that. There's nothing greater than the trust and the intimacy that comes forth from two people being totally open and knowing that that's your goal. Like, your goal is to please one another. Like, your goal is to, if you're going to have competition, let the competition be about how you please the other person.
Yeah, absolutely.
And learn how to receive. The biggest thing on giving also, there's another side of it. It's just most people, we have a guilt complex, or we feel guilty about receiving. And ask for when we need things. There's this weird guilt about being independent, and I shouldn't have to ask anybody for anything. And that's not what life does.
No.
Oh, I'm just a heads up, Lyn, also, just in case we have to do a part 2 of this. My phone is on 7% right now, so just
okay. Well, we'll wrap it up in the next few minutes then, just so you don't actually get physically cut off from the power.
Okay, right. It's on 6%. I don't know why. So it's like draining quickly. So just in case if it's part 1 and we have to do a part 2, or I want to talk to you all day now.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to have you on again. So just because, as I hear you, and in terms of your limited power on the phone, how can our audience get in touch with you then?
Troy Rawlings live.com, or anywhere if they Google me, Troy Rawlings, TroyRawlings. You can find me anywhere on social media. My social media footprint has probably been around, or whatever they call it, carbon, whatever has been around. Digital footprint has been around since '98, so it's not hard to find me online. But Troy Rawlings live, RAWLINGS, TroyRawlingsLive.com.
Excellent, and I will make sure Troy's details are all in the show notes, so you'll have that contact information in there, as well as the access and link to his latest book. What's your latest book called again, Troy?
Butt Naked Honest, Conversational Foreplay for Dating. Butt, B-U-T, Naked Honest, ? Conversational Foreplay for Dating. Can't miss it. It has 2 babies on the front hugging each other.
I love that.
Like they're having a deep conversation. I saw the picture. I was like, yeah. And the reason the baby's on the cover is kind of like, when we're younger, you see babies running around and being naked is nothing to them. As we get older, physically and figuratively, we put on so many layers. So it's like teaching people how to be naked, honest, even in the dating process, let alone when you get married and things like that.
Oh, I love that. You know what? I absolutely agree that we create layers as we grow older, and also wear many masks that aren't really representative of who we truly are. Anyway, because of the time constraint on the battery on your phone, I'm going to close this now, but I've really found it a great interview, Troy, and I'd love to have you on again. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts around Taboo Talk.
I appreciate you so much. And anytime.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'm going to leave it there, listeners, rather than wait for Troy to actually get physically cut off air. And remember, true love starts with opening our hearts. Thank you for listening. Until next time, goodbye. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Hearts Entwined podcast. You can follow Lyn via the Facebook group Two Hearts Entwined, or search Lyn Smith, inspirational speaker, at LinkedIn, or email lyn@hearts-entwined.com. That's LYN@hearts-entwined.com. Remember, true love starts with opening our hearts.